Today, we received news of the first known pedestrian death involving an autonomous vehicle. I discussed the incident and what this could mean for Tesla going forward. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 380 for March 20th, 2018. So I am going to break format a little today. As you well know, I normally only cover news that directly involves Tesla. Also, you usually don't get my commentary on this show as a general rule too. But there have been a couple of things in 380 episodes that have caused a break from this format. Today, very sadly, is one of those days. Reports from all over, including the local news outlet ABC 15, Electrek, the New York Times, and Wired, to name the one source for this show, share that Sunday evening in Tempe, Arizona, an Uber vehicle operating in autonomous mode with a human safety driver in the driver's seat struck a pedestrian. The victim was transported to a local hospital but eventually perished from her injuries. In response, Uber has halted their autonomous car program and issued the following statement, quote, "Our hearts go out to the victim's family. We are fully cooperating with local authorities in their investigation of this incident," end quote. So many are going to make a big deal about the fact that the victim in question was not in the crosswalk. That, folks, does not matter in the overall push to implement autonomous vehicles. These vehicles must handle human behavior that may be undesirable or illegal. I would say that a pedestrian walking outside of a crosswalk is likely one of the most common things that an autonomous vehicle will face, especially in an urban environment. So whether the victim was or was not within a crosswalk is inconsequential in my view. I would encourage everyone to expect more of the cars we wish to eventually have populating our roads. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be edge cases that nobody could possibly have foreseen, but this is not one of them. That ends the known facts of the incident right now. We don't know how fast the car was going, if there were other vehicles on the road, if the vehicle or the driver attempted to stop, or if anyone, AI or human, had any shot at preventing this accident. Those details will come later. I would hope, as part of their testing, that Uber has dash cams installed on all of their vehicles for just such an occasion. This will allow us to know much more about what occurred. For those of us that are autonomous vehicle enthusiasts, I highly encourage civil discourse around this event. Getting into internet arguments and lobbing insults is not going to help the cause. Facts and calm discussion are our only option to move forward. Anything else only hurts the cause. Also, please stay away from any talk about how this was the victim's fault, unless, as I alluded to above, it is determined conclusively that there is no way that an AI or human had any chance to prevent the accident due to the victim's actions. That too will win no support. A vehicle struck and killed someone. Let the authorities determine any fault to be had. So let's move on to how this could affect Tesla and really the whole autonomous driving field. This happened in Arizona, which is a super friendly state to autonomous vehicles. The state already permits driverless operation with nearly no restrictions. Basically, you just have to have a vehicle registration, and that's it. A spokesperson from the Arizona Department of Transportation told Wired last year, quote, "Although other states have reporting requirements for autonomous vehicles being tested in their state, Arizona does not see a need to implement reporting requirements at this point," end quote. So, from a legislative and political front with respect to overreaction from regulators, this is the best possible location this could have occurred in. However, that doesn't mean there aren't potential consequences. Obviously, because there was a crash, the National Transportation Safety Board is sending a team to investigate, and their findings will carry federal weight. In addition, other states could potentially create knee-jerk legislation that could harm the progress toward an autonomous vehicle future. The worst-case scenario would be one that would end in legislation that would temporarily halt all driver assistance, such as autopilot. I personally don't see this happening. Level 2 systems are a far different animal than Level 4 or Level 5 systems, and I would think, well, I would hope at least, that legislators could see the difference. The best-case scenario is that nothing happens, but I think that too is an extremely unlikely scenario. Even though this is the first known incident of its kind, despite literally billions of miles of semi-autonomous or fully autonomous driving actually speaking to the safety of these vehicles, human nature is to want to do something in reaction to a negative event, warranted or not. Some reaction will occur. Maybe I'm being way too optimistic, which I guess is the mark of any Tesla fan, but I don't think this will be a heavy-handed reaction. I think at worst, at least this time, there will be no more than a bump in the road, maybe requiring something like extra testing miles proven on a standardized closed circuit before being permitted onto public roads. I think most regulators see the value and eventual superiority of autonomous driving and won't step in the way. Obviously, this will be a huge story that will unfold over several months, and I'll keep you up to date on any developments that occur. Thanks for indulging me and sharing my opinion on the regularly scheduled show. I'll get you back to Strictly the News again tomorrow. Make sure you check out the links to the full stories in the show description. While you're at it, please consider supporting the show financially through Patreon at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. As always, thanks to wonderful super patrons John Waltower, Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Mark and Sarah Thomas, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dory and Steve Guberman, Bruno Quindici, John Rich, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, and Mitch Long supporting the show at the $10 plus level. If you can't support with dollars, be sure to show your love with positive reviews and subscriptions on YouTube, iTunes, and other services across the internet. That's it for tonight. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I'll see everyone back here again tomorrow, hopefully with a lot better news. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.